And you said the word poison.
Yeah.
Is that intentional, or do you think that's just a byproduct of capitalism and greed? I mean, how much intent is that, and how evil is that intent? I guess is really the question.
It's a great question. So I think myself, for most of my life, my sister at Stanford Med School, a lot of smart people watching this is like, okay, hyperbolic words, poison. You know, I know people in the food industry and the pharma industry, it's not that bad. But let's just go through the facts. It is crazy to me that everyone in America does not understand that the ultra-processed food system, our food supply, was created by the cigarette industry in a very literal way.
That's crazy.
It is. Every single student should be taught this. If you look at the health trends of Americans, it's very clear. It started around, the mid 1980s. Okay, so the mid 1980s, it's very analogous actually to what we need to be doing with food. But the Surgeon General, decades too late, started coming down on smoking, right? And that's a key point. Our science, forget the policy, our scientific authorities have respect and should say the truth. So the Surgeon Generals in the mid 1980s said smoking was really problematic for the first time. So smoking rates started going down. Cigarette companies were the largest companies in the world and actually had the largest cash piles, the largest balance sheets of any company in human history. So they very strategically started buying food companies. So the go-go 1980s, where we have like Wall Street and other movies about all the deals happening, the two largest deals in world history up to 1990 were cigarette companies buying food companies. So you had R.J. Nabisco, you had R.J. Reynolds buy Nabisco, which was a famous book, Barbarians at the Gate, about like the origins of the private equity industry. And then you had Philip Morris buy Kraft and U.S. Foods, some of the biggest deals in world history, M&A deals. So by 1990, the two largest food companies in the world were cigarette companies. So they took their scientists very strategically and shifted them from the declining cigarette department to the food department. And they then used their lobbyists to push the USDA to allow thousands of chemicals into our food supply that are banned in other countries. Now, are they trying to kill and poison Americans? No. They're trying to create cheap, addictive food. And that is the problem with ultra-processed food. When you see those ingredients, you don't understand. Those are scientists, literally from cigarette companies, concocting the most palatable, least filling, most addictive item possible. It's a science experiment literally by cigarette industry researchers to make us want to eat the food and hijack our biology. With whole food, it is very hard to overeat it. It's very hard to eat 15 oranges, which is the amount of sugar if you're like chugging a bunch of Coke. It's almost impossible to overeat steak or broccoli. Like these food over thousands and thousands of years in evolution, are connected with our bodies and, trigger satiety signals. Ultra-processed food short circuits that. It contains ingredients that are new in the past 100 years. The primary and three ingredients of our diet, seed oils, added sugar, and highly processed grains, didn't exist 100 years ago. So they weaponized the food with the science and then rigged the institutions of trust like they did with the cigarette industry, leading to the food pyramid in the 1990s, which led to an explosion of ultra-processed food consumption.